this works out okay. I thought that while I was gone in Delhi, we'd create a little distance learning activity. It's distance for me, but not distance for you. Today's the day when we start preparing for the IB exams. That basically we have 9 weeks from now into the exams. And I think you should think of us as a team working together. That I'm going to do my best to be sure that you're well prepared for the exam, and I think that I'd like you to do your best to read the poems that we're going to study, to look at practice exams, and to just try to do the work that's necessary to do well on the exam. Every year, and I mean this seriously, every year I see people exceeding on the paper 2 exam. I see people who are usually getting 5s, getting 7s on the paper 2 exam. Why? Because it's not that hard. There are some general questions. You pick one and you answer it in response to works that you know very well. If you read, reread, and memorize these poems that we're going to study, you will do well on the exam. You know how to write. You know how to think about literature. Now you just have to study these works, get to know them, and they're your ammunition that you carry into the exam. So today we're going to start preparing for the exam by looking at our first poet, Philip Larkin. I don't want to give you any background now on Larkin. I want you to just look at the poems, look at one particular poem today, and get to know that poem. Think about that poem, do a little bit of reading and reflecting on Larkin himself, and then I want you to respond to a practice exam question on the forum. What I want you to get used to right now is dealing with a poem on your own, understanding it on your own, and being flexible with your understanding of a poem, having a personal understanding of a poem that you can then bring into the exam. As we continue to study Larkin, I will give you some background information. You do not have to go out searching for SparkNotes, searching for your own information on the internet. We have already found things that will help you understand Larkin and help you do well on the exam. I'll give those things to you. Some of them are already on the portal. There's an article called Larkin Reconsidered on the exam resources folder on the portal. We'll give you that. But for now, what I want you to do is realize that it's important to understand the poem on your own, come to your own interpretation of that poem, and then to use your very good knowledge of particular poems to respond to an open-ended question. So that's what we're going to work on today. I think the one thing I want to stress at this point is that you did extremely well on your oral commentaries. You were well prepared, you had interesting things to say. No one bombed their oral commentary. Many of you did better than perhaps even you expected to do on your oral commentary. All of that work, though, is over. The only works you are writing about on the exam are the ones that we're going to study for the next 9 weeks. So you can not worry about Rushdie anymore, not worry about Measure for Measure anymore. You're only thinking about these poems that we are going to study for the next 9 weeks. In some ways, this 9-week period is complete exam preparation period with absolutely new material. At the same time, when you think about paper 1, doing an unseen commentary, and when you think about paper 2, answering a general question on literature in relation to something that you've read, these are the very skills that you've been practicing for the past 13 years in school. The questions that you'll answer on the IB exam are the same kinds of questions that my 7-year-old daughter answers about books that she reads in 2nd grade. And I'm not even kidding. It's what types of words and imagery does an author use to create meaning? How is the author dealing with social issues? What does this piece of work mean in the world? And how was this piece of work put together? These are kinds of questions that you've been answering since kindergarten, really. And so you've been practicing for this exam since kindergarten. And on another note, in some ways, don't think of it as an exam. Think of it as an opportunity to answer an interesting question about works that you understand very well. So today we're going to start that kind of preparation. I've got some instructions on the portal I've got another little video that you're going to watch, but for now, turn to the portal to look for the next instructions.